In this short vignette, I interview Bruce Avolio about his understanding of the total leadership system and its importance for organisations. One of the really important topics that you've helped us to get a handle on since you've been here is the total leadership system in organisations and extending beyond. So I wondered if you'd like to tell us something about what is it?
Well, I think it's an aspirational idea, and it's also aspirational for organizations to think that they have a total leadership system, in the sense that the leaders at every level, whether they're in followership roles or whether they're in leadership roles, whether they're peer-to-peer, whether it's diagonal relationships or up, leading up, in all those cases, I would say those are components of the total leadership system. Mm-hmm. And then we can go from, it's not just about individuals, it's about relationships, it's about the collective, it's about shared, and ultimately it's about the overall strategic leadership that is manifested in the organization's culture, its climate. And so if we think about that, then the next question is, how much of the variance in leadership do we actually capture when we just measure people who are in leader roles? Mm-hmm. And if we want to predict the things that leadership has an influence on, then why don't we look at leadership writ large and figure out what that is, and then we can accommodate and say, we can't always look at the total leadership system, but wouldn't it be interesting to be able to poll the leadership of an organization so we're sampling from the total leadership system all those different aspects I mentioned?
And have you been able to do some research on this concept and its utility?
Yes, and I think we're early in the game still. In fact, some of my colleagues say, "Do you want leadership to be everything?" Mm-hmm. Because of saying it's total. Just like people said when you called it full range, were you leaving room for everybody else? Mm-hmm. And essentially, think about this as an intellectually stimulating way of getting the field to ask the question: are we looking at the total leadership or the full range of leadership? Mm-hmm. And so we start to look at that in several major transformation projects, mm-hmm. where we would look at the 5 levels, complete levels of leadership. So first line leadership to the most senior CEO level. By the way, it doesn't include the board, doesn't include necessarily the followers in each of those levels, but it included an attempt at looking at all the different roles of leadership that would constitute the total system. Mm-hmm. And we looked at that to see to what extent was that system, from a leadership perspective, ready to implement a strategic initiative chosen purposively by the leadership, and saying, are you ready? And if you're ready, are you ready in the total system? So, like our technology, if there's one chip that fails in my laptop, the rest doesn't work. So there's critical pieces of that, and like in a laptop, so is true in organizations. There's lots of critical places where leadership can fail, and so we wanted to make sure we looked at the total leadership system. And we've done that in healthcare, we've done that with a major complex airline system, mm-hmm. and we've done that in manufacturing. And what we're finding is that initiatives get stalled, or in some cases fail on their own criteria because the leadership system isn't ready at various levels. Mm-hmm. Not maybe the top, maybe the middle, or maybe the front line.
So obviously that's a really important design total context issue.
I think it's really important not only from the inside, but actually how I really started to think about this was when we did a study with financial analysts. And financial analysts look at the leadership of an organization and value the firm based on what they estimate as being the quality of leadership. And it's based on just the top management team. And I said, would it be possible for you to look at this from a broader perspective? And they said they don't give us that information. We only look at the top. And so we started to explore that and say, how can we help analysts value a leadership quality of a firm by getting to the broader leadership system? That was really the genesis of it.